Hello friends, welcome to Third Stall Garage. My name is Doug and this is
Dale.
And this is episode 60.
Woo!
In the restoration of a 66 Volkswagen convertible Beetle named Hendrick.
You know what that means, Doug?
What does that mean?
Episode 60.
That's how old you are?
No. It means that we've been at this for a very long time.
This is like twice as many episodes as we thought there was going to be. You might notice that the shop is looking a little different. You might notice that the Beetle is not here. And there's a floor pan sitting on the floor. So it's an exciting episode. A lot of new stuff in this one for us. So follow along and we'll see how it goes. Thanks for being part of Third Stall. So we are done with the welding repairs to the body pan. You can see the finished product on the repair. There was a bunch of patches that needed to happen as well. One of them was right here where it had rusted through. There's another one on this side. We had to weld in a new piece and grind a new hole in it. Overall, we're pretty happy with it. Lots of little things to fix up, which weren't videoing. But now we have it out in the driveway, and one of our steps before epoxy primer is that we need to get it really clean, and we're not sure the best way to do that. Dale has spent hours with a wire wheel on a drill and I don't know, all kinds of other things. Yeah. He's had lots of fun. So a lot of the big stuff is off, but you know, there's still residue, and there's always little areas that are just really hard to get into, corners and things. And some of this stuff is so stuck on that if it's that stuck on, then we're not too worried about it. But we're gonna try a couple different things. Let me show you what we're gonna try. We're gonna try Easy Off. You can get it at Dollar General fairly affordably. I've used it before, just cleaning some engine parts. You definitely wanna do it outside and not get it on your skin, but it tends to eat down into things fairly well, and then hose it off. We have a little electric power washer that we're gonna try to, after we've let this stuff soak on for a while, power wash it and then blow it dry with air. And we'll see how that feels afterwards. Otherwise, we might try some other degreasers too. So let's get that set up.
I've climbed the mountains in Montana, danced in the lights of New Orleans. Portland ran away with me, and San Francisco stayed with me. Nashville made its way in between. Fell in love in Minnesota, fell apart south of Salt Lake. Colorado calls to me, and Washington will always be begging for a piece of me to stay. Maybe some things never change, but I wanna know how it feels to hang pictures on a wall, sleep in the same bed at night. I want reasons to stay, I want someone to take up my time and miss me when I go. I've swam the beaches on the West Coast, climbed the trees of Caroline. I felt the city streets of Boston underneath my feet.
Yeah, it's looking a lot better. How's it going?
You know, it's going well. I'm encouraged, to be honest with you. The idea of all this bare metal being wet really terrifies me. But Doug says this is a good idea, and he's seen people do this, I think. So
We'll get it dry fast.
yep.
One disappointment of the day is our first time using the little power washer, and it's not worth anything.
No.
So I think we may clean it one more time with a gas-powered, really good power washer. But You rinsed out the tunnel a little bit?
Yeah. Yep.
Good.
And,
All right.
You know, it feels frankly a lot like when we stripped paint off of off the car 3 years ago, where it's like, you know, you try stuff, you see what works, and sometimes you got to do it twice to really get it done. So I'm all right with that.
All right, let's we'll dump the water out and start blowing it out with air and get her dry. All right, so this is day 2 on cleaning the pan. So we sprayed it, rinsed it off with a non-power washer. The anemic washer. Today we're back at it again. We hope to do it with a good second coat and a good power washer. Dale sprayed it all down and is in the process of scrubbing with a red Scotch-Brite pad. Dale's really good about air protection and eye protection because the main ingredient in oven cleaner is it lye?
Lye, yeah.
So if you're following our instructions, wear good eye protection and skin protection and breathing protection, but primarily eye protection because it can cause very permanent eye damage. So just be careful with that. So we're gonna keep scrubbing and then carefully power wash.
'Cause I have traveled across this country wide, and I feel there must be something more to find. I miss those mountains in Montana. I've wandered long enough to know how good a good thing was. I feel it more the further that I get. So the wheels are pointed west till I know how it feels to hang pictures on a wall. Sleep in the same bed at night. I want reasons to stay. I want someone to take up my time. Miss me when I go. I'll find reasons to stay and someone to take up my time. Then I'm not gonna go when I get home. I'm going home.
Workbench is a bit of a mess. Let me walk you through what we're using. We're using Summit DTM epoxy primer. The DTM is direct to metal. So we're mixing with that. It is a 1-to-1 with the epoxy primer catalyst. I'm going to be using a Black Widow by Spectrum HTE high transfer efficiency gun from Harbor Freight, as well as the Spectrum Universal Paint System. All of these are products that we chose and are not sponsored by any of them, so we'll see how they work. I'm working on prepping and mixing this up. Dale is working on cleaning the body pan with wax and grease remover. How's it going, Dale?
You know, as far as I can tell, well.
All right, so we're getting to the final stages, and then we will hang the tarps up and hang the body pan and do some testing. This is my first time ever using a paint gun like this, so I have hung a Mustang hood that we just lightly sanded. We'll wipe down with wax and grease remover, and that's gonna be my test strip to kind of dial in the gun and practice for just a bit. In my cup, you can see fluid ounces, 10 fluid ounces, 15, 20. This is a 1-to-1 mix. I'm gonna fill it up to the 10 with my primer, and then I will fill it up to the 20 with the catalyst. So here we go. Should turn it so I can see it. might help. Little messy. All right, so we're at just above the 10-ounce mark. Now time to add the catalyst. I don't think this stuff needs to be stirred. No, should be pouring it this way. A little over the 20. All right. Made a messier to-do list, Dale. Just stir this. Which is good because the way that paint was, the primer was, it was thick. There's no way that was going through a gun. According to the instructions, there's a 90 to 120 minute pot life. So I think we've got an hour and a half to 2 hours at 70 degrees. We're just a touch below that, I think. Nope, 71. Good planning on the weather, Dale.
Oh, absolutely.
To get both 2 layers of epoxy primer on. I have no idea if this will be, like, how many times we're gonna end up mixing this. I just have no idea whether one will go a long ways or whether we're gonna be doing this 6 times tonight. Got a little bit sticking to the stick yet, so I'll keep stirring for a little while. Once it is set, I will snap the lid on. These lids have a built-in filter inside them. Very, very fine filter, which means that you don't need to have a filter inside the gun. And then the black cap here holds it all together.
Now, are you just using your normal air compressor line, Doug?
Good question, Dale.
Well, that's what you told me to ask, right?
Yes and no. So there's another video if anybody wants to watch it, but we have air coming from the compressor, goes through a cooler with a drain on the end of it, and then comes down the other side of the shop here where it goes through a, there's a regulator, and then a desiccant dryer, and then a motor guard filter. Oh, that was a poor choice. Then a motor guard filter, and then a final regulator that also has a water separator in it. So I'm hopeful by the time the air gets to this gun that there's absolutely no moisture or particulates left in it. Then I do have a final regulator on here. When you pull the trigger while the air is coming out is when you should check it. I'm running at about 22 PSI. That's my best guess for right now. So we'll do some experimenting. Time to pop this guy on. Half turn. It is on. Again, haven't done this before, but allegedly you need to get the air out of the gun. So the container inside here is flimsy and collapsible. So and then there's a hole here for the air to get in. So if I pull the trigger, it should start sucking the air out, and you should see the container start to crumple.
Oh, yeah. So it's more like a plastic bag full of paint.
Yes.
And now at some point, if you press it too much, will it start shooting paint all over your shop? There we go.
Right there. So now I can paint with it like this. You can see it's all crumpled in there. but I don't need to worry about, I can paint sideways or upside down if I had to. All right, so we're going to hang all of the tarps back up to protect everything in the shop, and then time to practice.
No stress, Doug. I'm not filming. Because, you know, I wouldn't be the kind of person who films people when they don't know it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Especially when they put it in videos. All right, just talk to me.
If you know a lot about painting, then you will recognize all the things we're doing wrong. So my understanding is your spray pattern, you want it to be a finger and a thumb width away with your gun, and you want a spray pattern that is a nice oval football. You don't want it wide at the top or wide at the bottom. If that's the case, your jets might be clogged. If it's all dry pattern, then you're not getting enough paint coming through, or there's too much air. And then as you paint, you want to hold your gun even, not that close. You want to hold your gun about that far evenly across. You don't want to angle it and sweep it because the distance is a lot farther there than there. So we're going to start and just spray a little bit and see what it looks like. Now that's a little taller than I was thinking. I wonder if I was a little too far away. So if I turn my fan down, it should be a little bit less. That kind of looks about the same. A little more fan, or turn the fan down. So I can kind of see how as I turn the fan down, my oval is shrinking that side compared to this side. So I think I'll go back up just a little bit, and then we'll see how it goes. Now as I go, I want to overlap about 75%. So I'm not doing one stripe moving up, a whole nother stripe. But each lap, each pass should overlap about 75% of the pass before it. So we'll see how this goes. All right, now we're gonna look at that with a light and watch it for a little bit and see if it looks like it's adequate coverage or if it's running or whatnot.
I've climbed the mountains in Montana, danced in the lights of New Orleans. Portland ran away with me, and San Francisco stayed with me. Nashville made its way in between. Fell in love in Minnesota.
Well, we're done with about 3 coats of epoxy primer. I have the mask on, which is why I sound like Darth Vader. Really happy, way easier to lay down than I expected. I thought it was going to be much trickier and I was going to have all kinds of runs. Now maybe in the daylight tomorrow I'll see some problems with it, but really happy with the way that it came out. A little disappointed that right there we missed a hole. I don't know how we missed that. And then there's one other somewhere. So we're going to have to figure out how to fix those. Ended up putting about 3 coats on because I figured 3 was better than 2. And in case I was missing a spot on 1 or 2 of the coats, that way it would still get it in other areas. But I'm excited to let this cure overnight. And then tomorrow we can open up the doors and ventilate it out and see how it looks. But 2 thumbs up. I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about how easy the Spectrum gun was to work with.